Peterson out on the mat. He's taking the mat here. He takes on Elliot Kite from Mineral Point, a freshman with a 14-18 record. And he's going to get schooled in takedowns right now as Haken goes for his second takedown and has him in trouble here on his back right away in the first period. This is the one thing that's still hard with our sport is you have some of these young men like Haken who are like at a high level.
Yeah.
And then when they wrestle some of these young freshmen that are still trying to find their footsteps.
Yep.
It sometimes turns into some lopsided matches. You can't fault Haken. He needs to sharpen his skills because the big tournament run starts next week.
Well, and you got to have your go-to stuff you're going, to get primed and ready. I agree with you.
Yep. So right now he's putting on a takedown clinic out here. It's already 7-2. There's no question that Haken is one of the elite 113-pounders in the nation, as he's shown that the last couple of years out in the Fargo tournament. And he's placed, I believe he's won it the last several years.
Yeah, I think so. At that 285-pound weight class, we now have, looks like it's going to be 3-1, I think. Nope, 4-0 now. Lancaster out in front and Timothy Nelson. And now the pin is secured there on mat 3, Kirk.
Yep. Haken finally got in the move he wanted and had enough exercise here, and he pinned him with 6 seconds left, so 154 pin. He'll be fun to watch. He's number 1 ranked here at 113 for the tournament. Didn't wrestle in the bi-state. Was kind of unfortunate for Dodgeville. Like I said, Reed Spurley got hurt earlier before the season started. Charlie Might, their other state champion, didn't wrestle in the bi-state either because of injury. And then Haken Peterson, he was on vacation, a family vacation over, I believe it was in Europe somewhere. So he didn't wrestle. But didn't hurt him any because they still stuck Roshan in there. And the other Spurley, the lighter one, I believe it's Rhett. And Shane won the tournament at the bi-state. And the younger Spurley, I believe he placed in the top 6.
Oh, I'll be darned. That's pretty good.
Now the young man from Lancaster is going to come back in this match. He's got a throw in plus a really nice headlock in. And if he gets, he's going to make a comeback win here if he gets this. But no, the young man from Belmont Platteville rolls out of it. And now he's looking to come around behind, and he does. So it should be, looks like 5-5 they're going to put it at. And there would have been some back points there, but they went out of bounds. 7-5 in favor of the young man from Belmont Platteville.
Wow.
Now we're moving up to 113 down here. Well, maybe they haven't changed it yet. Hard to tell.
On mat 3, they got it on the board. They just don't have it, I think, up on the, or no, they do have it on the computer now.
I did see Charlie over there, so I thought maybe he was coming out next, but he must have moved somewhere else.
I'm going to turn my mic down, Kirk. I'm going to check on a couple things and be right back.
All right, that sounds good. So we're getting to the end here. And then finally that roly-poly match there at 285 is done. And the young man from Belmont Platteville, Joseph Weistrel, comes up with the win, 7-5 in that match. And so now we'll be moving on to quarterfinals on all 3 mats. Mat number 3 now, we have Jordan Bonkamp, the junior out there. So he takes on Ben Reese from River Valley, the sophomore. Well, maybe we missed a 285-pound bout. They're bringing that out. It's the only thing, they slot these into the computer, and we're up to like 113, 120 on the other 2 mats, and we're still trying to finish out the round of 16 on the other mat. And that'll be at 285. That'll be Isaac Vondra from Dodgeville. He takes on Bronson McCone from Iowa Grant Highland. Bronson's one of those young men that steps in there and competes every week for their Iowa Grant team, but pretty well. It's hard standard, those 5 or 6 guys or 7 guys ahead of him put out there, but he's one I wouldn't count out in a lot of matches. He's got a fine record of 15-15 here going into the tournament today, and he's looking to get some bonus points for his team right away, as he's got Vondra from Dodgeville in a lot of trouble already. They go out of bounds though, no score there. Down on mat number 1, we have Lennon Ewert from Mineral Point, the junior, as he takes on Aiden Weigel from Belmont Platteville, the freshman. Weigel came in with a higher seed than Ewert, but right now it's Ewert who's having his way, 9-4. Down here on mat number 2, the young man from Blackhawk is out in front, 2-0 as we get to the end of the second period there. And it should be 2-1. The computer must be challenged to catch up here. So when they're on their feet, I think somebody got an escape. So down on mat number 1, we're going to have some more blood time down there. But it's still Ewert from Mineral Point leading 9-4 over Weigel. Mat number 2, we still have McCone from Iowa Grant leading 2-0 there, as he just can't quite get that turn in. And then on mat number 3, they're going to get ready to start the second period, but I think we still got some injury time or blood time. Or maybe it's mat cleanup. And they turned away, and McCone finally got that turn in there. And once he got the turn in, it didn't take long for him to get the pin on Vondra. There's 3 seconds left in the first period, so a 157 pin for the fall there at 285. So now we should move to quarterfinal action on all 3 mats. See, Charlie Might is down there warming up to get on mat number 1. And mat number 2, we're going to have an Iowa Grant wrestler out here, and he's going to take on somebody from Cuba City, Benton. Find those names in just a second. Still down here on mat number 3, it's Bonkamp against Reese. Still that 2-1 score as we're finally going takedowns here in the second period.
Take a look, just as a kind of let everybody know, thanks to we got about 75 or so folks, views watching right now on this clash, the SWC SWAL. Please pass the word. We do have we have 2 other tournaments going on. Carl Zuby and Shelly Keenan are up at West Salem doing the Cooley Conference, and Chris Faber, along with my brother and great nephew, I guess you could say, grandnephew, Randy Manning and Jacob Manning, doing that one. Now we were experiencing some audio problems there. We do apologize for that, but hopefully you can at least follow along and see who the wrestlers are that walk out there. They are doing play-by-play, and I think it is recording, and we'll have that on the YouTube channel sometime late tomorrow. But again, we apologize for the audio there. I'm Ken Manning and Kirk Lair helping me out here with this one, and so far it sounds like things are working on the computer, and appreciate it again. So please pass the word on the Twitch channels. We have the Westby channel we're doing here, Viroqua channel with the Cooley, and the Cashton channel for the Scenic Bluffs Ridge and Valley. Kirk, back to you.
Okay, down on mat number 1, we have Terry Sage has taken the mat out there. He's taken on Nolan Van Schindel from Cuba City, Benton Southwestern. That right now is 2-1, or 2-0 in favor of Sage from Riverdale. Mat number 2, we have Evan Curtis, the freshman, taking on Lucas Christensen, the junior. That right now is tied 2-2 in that match. And down here in the Bunkamp Reese match, Reese is out in front from River Valley, 4-2 over Bunkamp from Riverdale.
JV action still going on. Mats 4 and 5, and that'll switch over in a little while. Thanks again to another set of those sponsors. Scott Parrish over there in Laval, Hartsey Lumber bringing you today's action. We appreciate their support. Ryan Allen and his great crew, Iowa Grant Highland Wrestling Club, and Troy Clary and Marcus McCauley. Ithaca Weston Wrestling Club bringing you the action. We wish them the best of luck throughout the tournament series. And thanks to the great folks down there in DeSoto, J&R Military Surplus. Boy, there's the place to go, folks, if you want some quality products. They do a wonderful job down there. Remember, they're open Thursday through Sunday. That's when they're open.
Period ends down there, and mat number 1 in Sage got 3 near fall, so he goes out in front in that match 5-0. Still 4-2 in the center mat there with Christensen now out in front. And now in the Bunkamp Reese match down here on mat number 3, Reese is out in front 5-4 as they're going takedowns here in the third period. 1:20 to go in that period. Looks like in the JV action they're up to 126 and 120. Not totally sure if they're keep going up the weight classes or they're just going catch as catch can where they can wrestle.
Yep. That might be the case. Go back through. Whoops, I see that too. Thank you.
Yeah, I see. That's going to be a full-time job for us. You know? It's the only thing I see with track wrestling. It keeps wanting to. It wants you to upgrade right in the middle of the session.
Yeah, no kidding. Terry Sage, 24-7 from Riverdale. The sophomore leads 5-0 over is it Schindel? Is that how you say it? Cuba City Benton, Southwestern?
Van Schindel, I think.
Oh, Van Schindel, okay. A freshman at 21-12, so a nice record there. Mat 2, it's Cuba City Benton Southwestern's Evan Curtis, a freshman. Boy, now there's a nice record, 33-11, but he's taken on another great record, Lucas Christensen, a junior at 22-9 out of Isle Grant Highland. And again, at Isle Grant Highland, I tell you what, some of these teams, Kirk, they do not back down from competition. They really look for tough stuff, don't they?
Yep, that's like you talked about. We could have a chance to see Iowa Grant and Aquinas go at it for like the third time this year at the team sectionals.
Yep.
All depends. You know, it's like here today. You know, you come in this tournament today, and it's easy to say, okay, we'll pick these 3 are going to be there in title contention, and it'll be Fenimore, Iowa Grant, and Prairie, maybe in that order even.
Yeah.
But it's next week you drop Prairie out and they go up to Richland Center. But it's just these teams have battled each other all year long.
Yeah, it's really going to be something.
So nice thing, like Ken said, that next week with the super regional there here at Mineral Point, coming right back here.
Yeah.
At least you get 2 teams out now, and that helps a lot because this conference has been notorious to buck each other in regionals for quite a few years.
Yeah. And many really, really good wrestlers get stuck in the regional, and sometimes, they can follow each other out to the sectional, and that's what's kind of nice about at least taking the top 4.
It really helps, because there was some of the regionals because of numbers. There wasn't a lot of wrestlers there to begin with. Well, now with the super regionals, your numbers are up at the regional wrestling, and the fans, I think, like it because there's more action going on. And like I said, if you get caught in a weight class where there's 3 or 4 guys there, you still have a chance to get out of there.
Yeah.
At least I always say the state tournament series is a qualifying tournament.
Yeah.
So all you want to do is qualify for the state tournament, and then who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah. Kosman, by the way, on mat 3 picks up the pin over Hendricks, a freshman of Lancaster. So Kosman, the sophomore, now runs his record at 25-14. Hendricks will drop to 18-14 and go into the consolation side. Now, in this tournament, Kirk, are they doing? You get to the semis, you're in the top 4. Did they keep that?
I don't know, and we haven't been lucky to get our program to come up here yet. So
yeah, that's what I was wondering if maybe you knew by chance.
We'll have to catch that later on for you. We do have a Richland Center wrestler out here on mat number 3 now, and that looks to be at 113 pounds. So that should be Ethan Haiti out there wrestling. He's wrestling a young man from Iowa Grant, and that would be Jace Connor, a sophomore with a 4-6 record.
Yeah, he just picked up a pretty good bloody nose, so they're going to get him fixed up. Boy, we had a barn burner here on mat 2, Kirk, at 120 pounds. It was tied at 4-4, and Evan Curtis picked up a near fall. He got a real tight cradle locked up, but somehow Christensen out of Iowa Grand Highland kicked out of it. That was a tremendous effort there by Christensen. But the freshman now leads the junior 6-4.
He just won it too, Ken.
He did, okay.
Yep, 6-4 was the final.
My goodness.
Yep.
That might be a little bit of an upset.
I think so.
Now they'll reset mat number 2. Meanwhile, on mat 1, looks like Sage is kind of coasting along there.
Yep.
11, now 13. On the verge of a tech fall.
Yep. Down here on mat 1, this is the first action this year, I believe, for Ethan Haiti down at 113. So he's another one dropping down here at the end of the year, hoping to improve his odds to make the state tournament for a second year in a row.
Yeah, he's just a fun guy to watch too.
Yeah, he is. He's had a really good year at 120, so I look for him. He'll be making some noise here in this tournament.
Yeah. Well, here's a familiar name from me. I remember it more. You too, Kirk, in the Highland area. Mason Scullion out of Mineral Point steps out onto the mat. He's a freshman at 19-9, taking on Lakota Brewer, another freshman. But boy, tell you what, Brewer out of Riverdale, 33-4.
Well, like you say, that Scullion name coming out of this part of the state is definitely something that raises your eyebrows up. You kind of wonder if it's related to Johnny Scullion from the Highland wrestler who was definitely a bona fide state champion in that school.
Yeah.
And right now, Scullion is looking to be the aggressor out there on mat number 2 with a fine 2-0 lead.
Let's take a look at some of our sponsors: Kickapoo Lafarge Predator Wrestling Club and the Viola Quick Stop. Thanks to Angie and Travis Iggy out there, and Dustin Clements. My sincere thanks to Dustin. Boy, big help last night getting things going down there as we set up for today's broadcast at Kickapoo. Coon Creek Feeds. Appreciate Wayne and his support out there in Coon Valley. The Lacrosse Loggers, boy, I tell you what, there's a team to go and watch. They've been picking up some pretty neat people here in the last few weeks here, last 2 or 3 weeks, and they're going to have quite the team, I think, up there at Copeland Park and in lacrosse. And, of course, the Lancaster Flying Arrows and Tyson Wolf and his crew along the way. Appreciate them coming on board, bringing you today's action.
1:39, the pin time for Ethan Haiti. As I see him flashing signs over there, Ken, it was his 100th win of his career.
Oh, nice.
So that's a pretty fine deal, too, for him. Down the other end, as you mentioned, Terry Sage was cruising towards that tech fall. He was able to pick that up. And so now we have another Riverdale wrestler down there, and that would be Brady Baumgartner. No, I guess Perdesheen he is down there. But he has the monumental task of taking on the senior and state champion from Dodgeville, Charlie Might. Our middle mat, now Brewer got on the scoreboard, 2-1 now, and there as we go to the second period, and Scullion cheers down. Down here on the mat number 1 now, these are names that are very familiar to Lancaster, and actually the Fenimore area is the name Crap.
Yeah.
This is Jamin Crap, from a senior from Lancaster, and he takes on Max Kelly. That Kelly name is definitely known in the Iowa Grand Highland area, but right now Kelly's in a lot of trouble. He's going to give up takedown, but he didn't give up the back points, so that's good. He's only going to trail here 2-0.
Yeah. They just announced that 100th win there, Kirk.
Yep, that was pretty cool.
That's a good job, yeah.
Saw one of his friends or relatives down there, and probably an aunt or something. Boy, he ran into a buzzsaw here with Crap, but Crap's a senior with a 13-6 record, and Kelly's a freshman with a 16-9 record, but Crap is here. He's ready to wrestle today.
Yes, he is. Up on mat 1, Charlie Might, that senior from Dodgeville at 33-3, and of course a returning state champ, wrestling Brady Baumgartner. Right now, it's 8-3. Might out in front, and on mat 2, Brewer of Riverdale trails 3-1 to Scullion out of Mineral Point. Now 5-1 is the score. Well, we hope you're enjoying today's broadcast, and hang on to your seats because this could go rather fast as far as a wrestling day is concerned compared to the old days, Kirk, when you were officiating and I was coaching. Sometimes they wouldn't start the finals until 7 or 8 o'clock at night.
Well, that was natural back then.
Yes, it was.
Well, now Kelly might get a big move here of his own. He was able to catch Crap a little bit too high. He caught him in a headlock, and now he's at least going to have the 2-point reversal and probably a 3-point near fall. Max Kelly, the freshman son of Mike Kelly, the state champion from Fenimore, that's quite a few years back now, but
it just seems like yesterday.
Yeah, I know it. Yep. Oh, we got a fall down there, mat number 1 or something, must have.
Yeah. Might moving on.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Charlie was down there. He just decided to quit working on his warm-up and pinned him.
Yeah. And now out there on mat 1, they're waiting for the wrestling to kick in on the track wrestling, that is. They moved to 126 pounds, and we can tell you who that is in just a moment's time.
I think that's the other Aird from Blackhawk Belmont. I get this messed up every time with those. Darlington Blackhawk.
There you go.
This is one of their bona fide studs here in Aird.
The Warbirds.
The Warbirds. There you go.
I was going to ask Jimmy, how in the world, what's the history behind that one? I'd like to hear that.
Hey, Darlington is the Redbirds.
Yeah? Well, there you go.
And I'm not too sure what Blackhawk is.
Were they like Whitewater, like the Warhawks maybe? Or
Could be.
I don't know. I'm just I'm kind of wondering now.
My son has relatives down. He's got a sister-in-law down there, and they got 4 boys that are into sports now too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Aird has picked up a takedown, looking for some the pin.
He's got a cradle in. He's going to let that go, and he's going to get a 3 near fall. So he's going to be up 5-0. Man number 2, that Brewer-Scullion match is still tight. Right now, 7-5 in favor of Scullion. But Brewer's trying to come around and get his own reversal. And down here on mat number 3, Kelly's extended his lead now to 7-2. This is kind of where you can say, especially with Kelly's record at 16-9, this is kind of where Iowa Grant's, bona fide come out there and challenge you in every match starts in here.
Yeah. Aird does pick up the pin, Kirk. He's going to get a 130, looks like a 138 pin time, and he'll move on to the next round. So we're in the quarterfinals, and the winners here move into the semis. Those that wind up being defeated in this round, they'll drop back into the consolation and work their way back. And again, we're not 100% if it's going to be for 5th or if they get a chance to wrestle all the way back for 3rd. In the past, you get to the semis in this tournament, you're in the top 4. You would not have to worry about wrestling like an extra consolation match.
Yeah, we'll find that out for you soon.
Yeah.
Down there at mat number 1, that should be Rowan Carey back in action after an injury at the Cheesehead in the bi-state championship tournament the week before. So it's good to see him back out there. He's leading now, and I believe it's 4-1. He's putting on a takedown clinic down there. Maybe it's 6-2.
Look at 3.
Oh wow! Crap is coming back with a big move here. He was trailing in that match 7-2, and now he could secure the fall here and have a great comeback here. It's at least going to be tied up, I believe. He's got Kelly in a lot of trouble, but now Kelly got the arm through and is going to come out of it. So it's either going to be 7-5 or 7-7.
Yeah, that was a great effort there.
Well, 7-7.
Rowan Carey picks up the pin in just a matter of seconds out there on the mat with Brian Best out of Lancaster. So Carey, the junior, at 22-3, goes to 23-3 and into the semifinals.
Oh, this is one of the younger Birchmans. He actually got the takedown against Aird. Well, that kind of surprises me.
Oh, wow. Yeah. And sometimes you're just not 100%. Are the kids, like you said, this is the season where there's the flu and everything, and you start feeling a little peaked. You get a cold.
Yep. The worst thing can happen to a wrestler this time of year is A, number one, get an injury, or B, get a cold.
Yeah. Yeah, that just takes the sap right out of you, unfortunately.
Well, wrestling relies so much on endurance and breathing.
Yeah.
Not that other sports don't.
Right.
But you can't call a timeout or whatever out there and get a breather. So you have to wrestle pretty much the whole 6 minutes.
For sure.
And right now we're seeing some great action out here. The young Birchman wrestler, he's doing a heck of a job going up against the junior, Eli Aird, who's a state qualifier before. But Birchman, that family's no missing of success either.
Yeah.
Oh, now he's got a Cradle, and he's got Aird in a lot of trouble. This would definitely be considered an upset here, Ken.
That's true. Taking a look here, thought I heard a whistle over there on mat 1. Prairie du Chien, Drake Ingham, and Austin Cushman, and it looks like Ingham is going to pick up the pin.
And Birchman did pick up the pin as he pins.
Wow.
Kelly, I think, came back and got a reversal of his own and won 9-7 in his match.
Oh my goodness.
But Birchman pinning Aird here in this round, that is a huge momentum swayer for Fenimore. Not that they really needed it, but
yeah. Well, you kind of wonder, was that like a 4-5 or a 3-6, seed wrestling each other? That's what I was kind of wondering.
I think Aird was like a 1 or a 2.
No way. Seriously?
Yes.
Wow, isn't that something?
Well,
Well, if he's a 1 or a 2, that means that was a 7 or 8 then.
Yep.
That's quite the.
That was a big match there, a big upset.
On mat number 1, let's go back up on top here. Fenimore's Nolan Shep, a senior at 3-8, is going to take on Hunter Stevens of Iowa Grant Highland. Here's a sophomore, folks, that is 31-1 at 132 pounds. On mat number 2 at 126, it's Cuba City Benton Southwestern's Braden Troster, a junior at 17-9, taking on Brody Meese. And Brody comes in with a nice record here of 25-6 for the Riverdale Chieftains.
Currently ranked number 2 in the state.
Wow. And Kirk on mat 3.
This is another Prairie wrestler out here, and that is Mason Hurd from Prairie. He's taking on Dalton Leffler from Fenimore. This is kind of the area that Fenimore is still trying to find, what I would call bona fide studs.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine after these last few years, because Fenimore was definitely a power in the lightweights. Oh, wow, there's a Spladle there.
Oh, we haven't seen one for yet till today.
Yep. I'm shocked that he can't pin him there.
Yeah.
He's got that in pretty tight. Wonder if Riley Cade ever saw that when he was wrestling at Westby. There's a fine young official that's going to hang in this sport very well.
Yeah, he does a nice job. You're right.
It's usually that Spladle is one of those that it's hard to keep your shoulders off the mat.
Oh, I tell you.
But right now, Trester is doing a heck of a job, and he got through the period there.
I'll be darned.
Especially against Brady. There's a pin down here. That's on mat number 3. That would be Hurd getting the fall over Leffler. That was 20 seconds left, so 140 the pin time there for Mason Hurd from Prairie du Chien at 126.
They just got the match started on mat number 1. I'm not sure what they were waiting for there, but maybe they had a couple little technical things going on, but they're up and running now. Our thanks going out to 4 more of our wonderful sponsors, the Laval Telephone Co-op. Thanks to Greg and all the crew, and John, of course, up there. Lynn's Home Center, Dwayne Lind, out there in Cashion, downtown Cashion. Boy, they have like 70,000 different pieces, different items there. It's remarkable what they have. And then Mike Nicolati Construction. We thank them out of the Stoddard area. Of course, Mike, one of our main officials in our area. Appreciate him. He's been doing that for a long time. And, of course, the best small construction company you're going to find. And Nordic Lanes out of Westby, we thank Scott and Sue Sordo.
Well, some real good action going here, as you mentioned before. Hunter Stevens is another one of, those guys is just going to give you a takedown clinic here. He's up now 8-1 down there against Nolan Shep from Fenimore. And our middle mat is kind of a close match. Well, Brody's been dominating here. Now he gets another reversal. So now he leads 7-1. And then our close match down here right now is mat number 3, and that's Nathan Johnson from Dodgeville. He's tied in a 0-0 match, although he just shot in deep on a single leg but didn't quite get it. He takes on Connor Breimer from Cuba City, Benton Southwestern.
6-2 your score up on mat 1. They're back up on their feet. Boy, that tight. They were tussling there. They go out of bounds.
This is definitely where you get into, I'd say, the sawmill for Iowa Grant.
Yeah.
With Hunter Stevens, Biba, and that Heineman kid at 44, and then it just keeps getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah, that's where they're getting their pins or bonus points, as we talk about so often.
Bussy, and then another Moan.
Great.
They're just solid all the way up to about 160 some. Rokop has had kind of a interesting year at 215. He's beaten some really good young athletes. Then he's had some matches that didn't quite go his way. But he's definitely a force at 215.
Oh, yeah.
As we mentioned today, now without Teague Perkins here at 215, it's going to kind of opens that weight class right up for who's going to finish second. I don't think anybody's going to touch Blake Theory.
Oh, no. Yeah, what happened to Teague?
Like I say, he was wrestling Theory in the SWC duels, and I think it said he injury defaulted out of that match. So
shoot.
I hope it's nothing serious. We just see a fall down here on mat number 2. That should be Brody Meese getting the fall there, and he will move on to the semifinal round at 126. We watched that Hunter Stevens wrestle last year, Ken, and right away when we saw him at the Richland Center Invitational, we said this young man is going to be special. And I'm sure if you would have asked his coach, Ryan Allen, he said, well, what do you think? And then now this Heineman, young freshman stepping in at 144, he has had an outstanding year too.
Yeah. Well, and now at 138, you got Biba out there, and boy, he went into a high crotch series real quick with Braden Husum out of Dodgeville, the sophomore. So you got a senior undefeated record, now out in front 6-2 against the sophomore at 10-23. Go ahead.
Biba's had one of those careers that it's had its really high moments, and then it's had its moments that I'm sure he'd like to do over, but he just seems like a young man that it's all geared up for him, even though he got kind of a late start. I think the first time he truly wrestled was at the Richland Center Invitational.
Yeah.
I think he came in there with a 1-0 record.
Yep.
It was kind of interesting. We were sitting in that seating meeting, and you don't see that too often, but the coach finally, Ryan Allen finally goes, well, we're not too bad here.
You might want to consider.
It didn't take long for him to give him number 1 seed. Hunter Stevens picks up the fall down there. That was with 9 seconds left to go in the second period. So that would be a 3:51 pin.
Wow. Biba is now out in front. 11-3 it looks like with that one. Our thanks going out to the North Crawford Seneca Wrestling Club. That is, of course, Eric Haiti. Appreciate their support. Eric and Ashley are usually talking with them. And, of course, the Marketplace in Gays Mills. That's Tanya. We appreciate their support with the Horizon Co-op. And O'Reilly Auto Parts. Thanks to Bill Klemick bringing you today's action and with all kinds of great things going on. Along with Organic Valley out of Cashton. They're located out there on Highway 27. We appreciate that. And, of course, the way nature intended for it to be is kind of their motto. And also in Cashion is Portland Implement. We appreciate their terrific support, and of course the Kubota equipment line that they have.
3:27 the fall time for Biba in his match. And now down on mat number 1, we have Bryce Buxton from Cuba City, Benton Southwestern. He takes on Mason Schulte, the sophomore that we've been impressed with watching this year for River Valley. Then on mat number 2, we have Quentin Kite from Mineral Point. He's going to take on Dylan Weigel from Belmont Platteville. Weigel probably the best wrestler that Belmont Platteville puts out on the mat. And then still here on mat number 3, Nathan Johnson has a 4-2 lead over Connor Biermeyer from Cuba City, Benton. It's good to see down there on mat number 1, Neil Stake, one of the fine young officials in this area. He had an unfortunate incident last weekend where he tore a bicep in his arm, and it was rumored that he wasn't going to be able to do any tournaments.
Oh, wow.
And as a matter of fact, he even gave up his state tournaments of regionals and sectionals.
Oh, my.
He just found out this week that the doctor said, well, you can either live with it and work, or you can really no reason to do the surgery. So
I'll be darned.
He's a tough Wisconsin Rapids former wrestler, so I didn't take long to figure out what that answer was.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's
so he's back here today. You know, we've got quite a few good officials here.
Yeah.
And a lot of them state tournament officials here today.
That's really cool. But you know, with this caliber of a tournament, you really do need the caliber of officials, because things can get flying in a hurry if you're not careful.
Well, that's for sure, and it's nice to see some good young officials out here in Riley Cade and Mason McCauley. But then your experience, it's hard to sit there and say that Neil and Mark Farrell and Ryan McGuire are experienced officials, but they've been at it so long. Even Adam Guthrie here, but Adam, you got to throw in his coaching years in there too.
Oh, yeah, right.
You know,
right,
but he's going back to the state tournament again this year.
Oh, he is. Okay.
Yep. So
good for
and
him.
then you got old Mark Parrott out there too. You know, he's another one that spent a huge amount of his career, you know, blowing the whistle himself in practice.
Yeah.
And now he's just, you know, he's done a couple trips to the state tournament already.
Yeah.
So that's good to see too.
Good for him. Well, recapping here, let's take a look at what's going on mat number 1 in the upper left corner of your screen. Bryce Buxton out of Cuba City Southwestern taking on Mason Schulte of River Valley. Buxton 28-12 with record, the junior, and the sophomore in Schulte from River Valley is 18-9. Looks like there's no score there yet as they move into the next period number 2.
Yep.
Mineral Points, Quinton Kite, senior, 12-16 on mat number 2, taking on Dylan Weigel of the sophomore, Belmont Platteville. He is 32-7. Weigel now out in front 6-1. And on mat number 3, well, here's Owen Sefrud as he is in a pretty good position to pick up a pin. He's taking on Brody Blackburn, the sophomore, at 26-14 out of Cuba City, Benton Southwestern. Sefrud, let's see now, was he a state champ or was he the runner-up? I'm trying to remember.
He always kept running into that young man from Prairie Sheen by the name of Rhett Caney.
That's what it was. Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
So if I remember right, a 2-time state runner-up, and he is sitting at 35-0.
Yep.
Got to imagine that he's got to be the pre-tournament favorite there for a state championship.
This got to be his year, but I don't think he's ranked number 1 right now.
Oh, really? He's got a pinning combination. He's got the pin over Blackburn of Cuba City, Benton Southwestern.
He'll get 152, that is.
Uh-huh.
I believe there's that Hart kid, or 150 it is. No, that was about 150. 144 he's at.
Coming out onto mat number 3, looks like Flying Arrow and Belmont Platteville, as that is going to, or is that Riverdale? I'm trying to see here. Let's take a look here. No, it is Belmont Platteville. Mason Ulrich, a junior, 17-7, taking on Devin Tiedrich, the senior, at 30-6 for the Flying Arrows. He's a senior, yes.
Sefford is ranked number 1 right now.
He is,
so this
okay.
could be his year.
Yeah.
He finally got a lot of the other kids to either graduate or move to a different weight class.
Yeah. Well, just watching him, I think I'd be considering moving to a different weight class.
Yeah. This is the weight class here that Orridge is in. There was quite a bit of debate and quite a bit of moving around young athletes in that as far as seeds.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of them, especially in that middle group from about 3 to 7, that kind of beat up on each other. I beat you, but you beat him.
Yep.
It was kind of interesting. So they had to discuss that for a while.
That's always.
And this is one of 2 of these gentlemen both here moved in that weight class.
Okay. Yeah, that's always a fun time when they can figure that one out, right?
Well, there was a lot of head-to-head in there, but there was also some real quality records here. As you can see, Oltrich is 17-7, and Tiedrich is 30-6. You know? I mean, those are highly respectable records at this time of year. Down there on mat number 1, we still have no score with Duffy from Riverdale, Sean Duffy. He's taking on Malin Hahn from Fenimore. See, this is the other thing is we look at some of these names today here. We just saw a Kite wrestle for Mineral Point. Now we're seeing a Hahn wrestle for Fenimore. That used to be a Lancaster name for the better part.
Yeah.
You know, and then we saw the Kelly wrestling for Iowa Grant, but I did get the skinny on them, you know, that they actually, while they were expanding their dairy, they actually moved into the their dairy into the Iowa Grant School District.
Oh.
But Mike, the dad, was in his junior year, so he finished out his career at Fenimore, which they didn't mind at all.
I see that. Yeah, no kidding, right? They would cherish that one, I'll bet.
He ended up a state champion for Fenimore, one of the few they had back in that era.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of second nature down there for Fenimore to have state champions.
Well, they've had some real tough nuts individual-wise, and now it's, of course, team and individuals. So
I think I read somewhere in the stuff to get ready for today here. The last 7 years, they've won 5 of these tournaments.
Wow.
For the Clash.
Uh-huh.
Still, a lot of people like to call it the Clash. I still do too myself.
Yeah.
But although it was fun back in the old days to just call it the SWAL tournament.
Yes, I know.
Because it was the big SWAL and the small SWAL.
Yeah.
And for some whatever reason, we thought it was a good idea to call it the SWC, but.
Well, then they reverted back to the SWC conference instead of SWAL 1, SWAL 2.
That's what I was talking about,
Yeah, and I'm not sure, and I was part of that too, and I, you know, for the life of me, I honestly don't remember what was going on with it, but I do remember as a principal, you know, we got together with or excuse me, not the principal, but, well, actually I was the principal at Westby, and we talked about doing some other things with crossover matches with football, you know, football games and other things. And I know there was discussion on when they went to the SWC and SWAL, but I don't remember it.
Yeah. Duffy now down there extended his lead to 4-0. Now I think we're going to see that fine freshman from Iowa Grant step on mat number 2 here. He's going to take on a good competitor, though, from Prairie du Chien. They haven't popped it up on the computer.
Right.
Here we go. Brock Hinderman, a freshman with a 29-4 record. He takes on Drew Hurd. Drew's another one that's just dropped down here. His coach was saying he was wrestling 150 most of the year, and now he's at 144. I believe he was even a state qualifier last year for Prairie du Chien.
Sure seems like it.
He drew a tough draw here, though, in Hinderman in this round.
Yeah.
And they had originally, I think, had Hinderman down in like a 4 or 5 seed, but I think that changed. See, then Hurd was in a bad spot because, you know, he's got a nice record, but 11 losses at this time of the year doesn't have your winning percentage up quite where you'd like to see it.
Yeah, can make it a little tough. Thanks to more of our sponsors, since we mentioned Prairie du Chien, the Prairie du Chien Blackhawk Wrestling Club. Appreciate Mike Rogie and his great crew helping us out. Premier Co-op, of course, the corporate office in Mount Horeb. You'll find them in Dodgeville, Richland Center, up in Westby. They just do a tremendous job. Richland Grant Telephone out of Blue River. We appreciate their support. John and Lori and that bunch, that whole crew. And the River Valley Blackhawks Wrestling Club. I tell you what, that's pretty special there. We appreciate Dan and TJ helping us out with the sponsorship and all of their great crew. And congratulations to them. They are going to be hosting the Division II team sectional coming up down the road here in a couple of weeks. That's always fun. Great matches there.
Well, Hinderman did a kind of a little bit of a freshman mistake against a senior, and Hurd tried to do a little bit of upper body, and he almost paid for it. Hurd did get the takedown, and then it looked like Hinderman was going to come around and get an escape, but he did get a reversal, but he did come around and get the escape. Quite a match going on between the two of them.
Yeah.
And here, and we had a good match down here on mat number 3, too, between Tiedrich and Ulrich. That's now tied 5-5 in the third period with less than a minute to go. No takedown there at the end of the period. Still 2-1 in favor of Hinderman. Down there on mat number 1, Sean Duffy still has a 6-0 lead over Malin Hahn from Fenimore. You're used to coming back to Fenimore again. You're used to seeing Nutters and Birchmans and other kids down in these lower weight classes. It's kind of interesting to see that Fenimore's really stud wrestlers don't kick in until you get up in these middle weight classes.
Yeah, right.
We just saw the young Birchman, though, come out there and upset Eli Aird, and that was a big match at 126.
In this caliber of a tournament, you're going to see probably throughout the day, well, when everything is said and done, you might see 3 or 4 upsets, something like that, because on that any given day kind of a thing, you know.
Definitely. You see here in the last 9 seconds as Tiedrich just got a takedown. If he can hang on here, well, we'll see. Oh, yep, we got to probably the safe thing. He's going to give him one escape. I believe it's going to be tied 7-7 there. There was only 6 seconds to go there. I was just ready to tally that up for Tiedrich. And then all of a sudden, Aldrich hit a spin move, came out on top. He could have potentially gave him a reversal there, but I think he gave him 1 point for loss of control.
Okay.
And that's what it's going to be, and we're going to go sudden victory over here. Oh, nice shot by Hinderman there on a low single ankle. Oh, wow, I looked away, and you got a big throw there, Ken.
He did a lateral drop like there was no tomorrow.
Yep, he's got the match won now. It's just whether he's going to secure the fall. And there it is.
That was just excellent hips there. My goodness.
It was set up perfectly, huh?
It really was. They both came up, but kind of leaning in a little bit was Tiedrich, and that was all it took.
Hinderman now gets another takedown. He's up 4-2 in his match. Down on mat number 1, Ethan Krapp. This is kind of where you start into Fenimore's really studs. He's taking on the senior with a 17-4 record. He's taking on Jacob Dannenberg, a freshman from Mineral Point. He's out in front down there 2-0.
Yeah, Dannenberg with a nice record for a freshman in this weight class at 20-9.
Well, Hinderman gave up some points, but now he's getting back points. It'll be interesting to see where the score is now. He's got 3 back points. So it's 7-4 now as we go into the third period. Now we come down here on mat number 3. That's Brady McCartney. He takes on Jackson Perkins from Prairie du Chien. So Lancaster Prairie du Chien on mat number 3. And right now it's Perkins who's out in front there, but he's about to give a reversal, and he does. So now it's tied 2-2. Going takedowns in the middle, Matt. Hinderman and Hurd. 7-4 there, so this is a big takedown.
Thanks going out to 4 more of our wonderful sponsors, the Royal Panther Wrestling Club, bringing you the action today out there in Royal Territory. And, of course, Sealands Carpetland. We appreciate Tim, Paige, and all that great crew. Sid's Concrete, Sid Thayer out of Wilton. Boy, I tell you what, there's the place to go. Contact Sid for all your concrete work. And Southwest Technical College. Appreciate those fine folks as they continue on, as you continue on with your education. Be sure to start things off at Southwest Technical College.
Just really good action going on here as we got Crap on the far end down there. He has a 4-1 lead as we end the first period. Still a heck of a match going on here. We're in the middle, Matt. With 1 minute to go, Hinderman still has that 7-4 lead, but they're going takedowns. And it's going to be, I think this is going to end up another one like we just saw in the last match. It isn't going to be just a takedown. It might be a big move.
Yeah.
Although Hurd just scored a takedown. Now it's 7-6. Is he going to let him go is going to be the next thing.
He wants to.
He wants to, but Hinderman said nothing to that. He came around, got the reversal.
Boy, he snagged that inside knee and got him on that tendon, and he wasn't going to let go.
Oh, Hurd wanted to, like you say, wanted to push him away and let him go, and Hinderman wanted nothing to do with that. He did that quick inside move and got his leg, and that was it. Now it's 9-6. Back with down in the last 15 seconds. He just needs to stay away from giving up something big.
Yep.
Down here on mat number 3, that's a tight match too between McCartney and Perkins. Perkins, after the first period, has a 3-2 lead.
Don't you just kind of feel that's going to be the theme today? It's a tight match.
Yep. Especially when we get into semis here. That's when we're really going to get into some tough ones.
That is going to be a
blast. Hinderman, the freshman, keeps his season going. He just beat a very fine Drew Hurd in this quarterfinal action.
Yeah, that was an excellent match.
Ian Krapp down there still leading 7-1 in his quarterfinal match. Mat number 2, we have the number 1 ranked wrestler for Fenimore stepping out there, Zyler Zenzavic. He takes on Emmett Collins from Mineral Point. Right away, Zenzavic comes out and gets the first early takedown. Look down here on mat number 3 with 1:15 to go in the second period. It is now 6-2, I believe, yes, 6-2 in favor of Perkins from Prairie du Chien over McCartney from Lancaster.
30 seconds to go in period number 1, up on mat number 1. Second period, and it's Krapp still with the lead.
Zenzavic gets an early fall in his match with 20.
They're still wrestling.
Oh, I thought he slapped him.
No,
Yeah,
he did. The guys didn't know it. They were still wrestling.
Wow, I thought you had me there for a second. 38 seconds was the time of the fall. I thought I saw Riley's hand slap the mat.
So Zavic just did not want to quit.
He liked that cradle.
He liked that cradle,
yeah. For a while. All right.
More of our sponsors helping us out here today. We want to thank Dr. Stanek, Stanek Dental up there in La Crosse. I wonder who Dr. Stanek is rooting for the next couple 3 weekends here. But hoping all the best for the Blue Golds. St. Joseph Equipment, you'll find them up at St. Joe's, and of course also in Wilton, Norwalk. I always do that. And down here in Richland Center. So we thank St. Joe's Equipment for their sponsorship. Sweet Valley Artisan and Valley Fudge and Candy out of Coon Valley. Now there's the place to go. Thanks to Steve and Linda Schulte when you drive through downtown Coon Valley. The Bank of Ontario. Thanks to Doreen and that great crew. They are right in Ontario, and of course they are known as the Vernon County Bank. So we appreciate all their terrific support. And speaking of Doreen, our condolences going out to Scott and Doreen, the family. Scott losing his mother just a day or two ago, but Rosie, she passed away, and again, our thoughts and prayers to them. Great family there in the Cashton area.
Wow, we see another one of the fine wrestlers, the returning state champion, Tristan Stelt, steps out on mat number 2. And he's just kind of taking his way in this match against Preston Clemens from Lancaster. 4-1, but he's got a nice cradle in here too, and it's going to be interesting to see if he doesn't get the fall out of that. And on the far end down there, Krapp is still leading 11-3 as they're in the third period in that match. There's the fall for Stelt.
Very, very solid there.
Yeah, he's only a junior with
Man.
a 27-4 record.
Yeah.
And most of those losses came probably up at the Cheesehead or over in Iowa. I think they went to a really tough tournament in Iowa or Missouri somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I believe you're right. I believe it was Iowa, but I'm not 100% either on that. But yeah, he definitely looks the part.
Now we start seeing some of Jimmy Wolf's real good middleweights here in the Global Boys. So, down there, Krapp came up with, I believe, a 12-3 final in that match down there. That was in mat number 1.
Yeah, I tell you what, those guys have been in the weight room.
Yep.
My goodness.
And we see in mat number 1 down there, Iowa Grant wrestler. He's going to take on a really good wrestler from QB City's Benton Southwestern. This might be Imhoff down there, should be, I'm thinking. He's just one of those sneaky good wrestlers. He looks tall and lean, but boy, he's got all the good stuff. Tyson Imhoff, yes, I thought it was. He's taking on Nick Reddington from QB City Benton. Imhoff right now has a 28-3 record on the year. So like you said, you started basically about 26. We've got a final down here now. That was 10-4 at 150 on mat number 3. That was Perkins from Prairie du Chien gets the win over McCartney from Lancaster. I mentioned earlier, that's Braylon Goebel out there, the senior, with a 33-2 record in a high ranking. He takes on Tyson Larson from River Valley and right now leads 7-2 in that match. We have another River Valley wrestler taking the mat down here on mat number 3, and he's taking on a Belmont Platteville wrestler. He gets the early first takedown. As Imhoff down there is still dominating his match. Now up 7-0, I believe. Oh, maybe it's going to be 8-0. He's going to get some 3 near fall here. This is Wyatt Knockreiner down here on mat number 3, excuse me. He got the early takedown against Cam Spenceley from Belmont Platteville. This was another weight class where there was a lot of discussion and young, especially in the 5 to 6 area, or excuse me, the 3 to 6 area. A lot of guys, I beat you again, you beat me.
Yeah. Flip the coin, right?
But actually, Spenceley should have been a higher seed than some of these other young athletes here, but he'd been beaten by a couple of them that were born.
Oh.
That was interesting.
Yeah. Huh.
But between Sefferud and this young Goebel, I mean, you can understand why both Blackhawk and Darlington had good football teams this last year.
Yes.
I would certainly want him on my defense or offense. He is just a physical specimen.
Yes, he is. Yeah, for sure.
The only thing he could use as a football player is maybe a little bit more height, but I imagine in the divisions there, and it doesn't hold him back a whole lot.
I wouldn't think so, that's for sure. Thanks going out to the place in Norwalk. Bobby and the crew remind you to pop in there. They got some tremendous luncheon specials throughout the week, and, of course, the Friday Fish. Top Dog Wrestling Club, thanks to Stetson Clary and Clary Trucking, that's Troy. Clary Trucking, LLC, out of the Ithaca Richland Center area. And Torkelson Funeral Home, thanks to Todd and his wonderful crew. You'll find them located throughout the area from Toma all the way up to Cashton and the surrounding communities. And Tractor Central helping us out, thanks to Don Wallace and that fine crew, Wayne Keenan as well. That's Tractor Central between Westby and Viroqua. Well, there's, again, more of our sponsors. We're going to keep hitting up on these quick hitters. We just want to mention it because we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for those wonderful folks. And you'll see during the rebroadcast, we'll have some of the picture going here for you as far as all those wonderful sponsors. We'll have a little visual picture for you as well.
Goebel from Darlington Blackhawk came up with a tech fall there in the second period. And down there in Imhoff's match now, He now leads 8-0 as he gets more near fall points. And Knockreiner's been doing a heck of a job down here against Spenceley. He's up in that match now 13-2.
Wow. Well, here's one of Mineral Point's tough rascals.
Yep, Cade Rule. He's right now ranked #1 in the state at this weight class for Division III, and he's definitely, between him and Carey, they're two of the kids that Curtis Fiedler and his crew there rely on. Again, that's just another name that's just synonymous with this area.
Yeah.
A lot of times you would think the rules were from Dodgeville, but there's definitely an influx of few of them down here too, as he gets the early first period pin.
Yeah, 38 seconds on that one.
Yep.
He'll move to the semifinals. Knockreiner out in front 13-2 now.
Yep. And Emhoff down there winning 8-0 as he just gave up or just got some points. So now it's 12-0. Right away he comes in deep on another takedown. It should be real close to a check fall with 14-0. I would think maybe he'd let him go now and secure another takedown and just put this match away, but we'll see. Mat #2 now, we have Landon Bausch from Cuba City, Benton, taking on Emerson Moan, another one of the really good Iowa Grant wrestlers out here.
Well, Knockreiner does get the pin, Kirk.
He does, huh? That's kind of like I said, that was an interesting weight class in the CD meeting. There was, that middle group of wrestlers was really good.
He winds up with a 3:59 pin time there. Got it right before the buzzer.
Two of Iowa.